Right, this is the very first time I've done this, but I was thinking at work earlier about pretty much summing up what we've achieved in this particular session. Now you can actually see, we've done 3 fields of canola. I'm just going to highlight, and we're going to keep this brief so that those people who only want to watch, look and see what's cracking off, and then they'll just want to spend 5 minutes, that I'm going to save you the time of doing that, because I'm going to explain what we've actually done. So this session, basically, we came in and got the harvester. We also placed I'm just going to highlight the things that we've actually done this session that's different to what's we put a washer down. And we did a little bit of quite nice. I think that's quite nice. So yeah, we put that down. And then we went on to harvest the 3 canola fields. Harvest, which... does it? Oh no, I was going to say I've got that switched off. I was going to say it should be purple. Yeah, so we've harvested 59, 57 and 58. Or 57, 58 and 59 if you can do it that way. We can still see our sunflowers are well far away. We also baled, but we also used the snuffle stuck tried it with courseplay, and it works. So that was quite interesting to sort of do that test with courseplay to see it bale and use the snuffle stuck. Of course, the one bad thing is you need to go up and down with it. So really it's best in the hands of you, the player. But you could tell courseplay on a field that's not got things at the end of it, which is very rare. You could tell courseplay to just go up and down, and if it was a clear run, it would be able to do it. Unfortunately, there's lampposts in the way, and there's like trees over here, so that's not possible. Yeah, but basically, it does work, which the normal workers choose not to. They sniff their nose up and they lift it and just ignore the fact that it's behind them, even though they could quite easily do it. It's obviously a choice by Giants to say that, no, you're not baling. We are not letting it bale. So, yeah, we've done the 3 fields, and that pretty much is it, really, yeah. So I'm just going to tack this at the beginning, and I've spoken in the past tense. I wasn't going to do that. I was going to try to say what we are going to do, but then it's sort of like as if I'm reading a crystal ball, whereas really what I'm doing is I'm going to put this at the front so that those who like just to see manual bale handling, that they can know, nah, this one's not for me. Canola, how well did we do? We did. We have not put it in yet. Yeah, so let's quickly show you what we get, and then I'm scooting. No, it is actually in the trailer, which is not where this one is. It is. Oh, we did tip it in. I know we did. I remember doing it. Yeah, I'm gonna say we've got 19,580 now. We were down about 4,000, and we've got a little tiny bit left in the tray. So about 19,000 litres of canola we did off those 3 fields, and that is about it. I can't think of anything else that we did that's out of the ordinary. So yeah, a lot of chatting went on. We're talking about the game and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's worth watching. There wasn't much of a time lapse. There was a little bit in the middle, mainly chatting about the game, FS22, FS19 and FS25, and about people's thoughts. There's a lot of people not happy with the game, and I can understand why at the minute. It is a real mess. There was weird things going on with the straw, which I came out the time lapse to sort of show you all, where it's a little bit like the phenomenon of snow. At the minute, snow recedes very, very slowly, and the way you can plough the field, and the ploughing comes a second and a half after you've gone over it, and it's very disconcerting because it's slow. It was a little bit like that. You could see hidden straw underneath the surface at the corner of your eye. Again, another fault that obviously probably will be fixed. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I just want this to be at the beginning. So I hope you enjoy the session. Hello and welcome. Right, we are back on Zielonka. As you can plainly see, it's really strange when you say things like that, because you like think, well, yeah, they know they're on the Zielonka. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? You're just saying hello. Right, we are doing terribly well on this, although our cash is taking a nosedive. But again, we're buying lots of stuff this time. We can actually use the Recordia. I seem to be. It's true. Now this is following the same trend as FS22, which was that when you have a new mod that you release, even the cheap ones like the Recordia, that is not terribly expensive. Although I've got a theory that I think it's over 10 grand, except for front loaders, which are a necessary thing and do still come in the sales, even though they're less than. Because you often see nothing else like lower than 10 grand that I'm aware of. Yeah, the ploughs, the 4 metre and the 3 metre ones that are 11 grand. Again, they come in the sales quite frequently. But you don't see much else. You don't get many modded things like 3 grand or 7 grand that ever appear in sale. So I do think there's a limit, and it's not about modded stuff, because obviously things like the Airhawk, the Seedhawk, they all do come in and they're modded. And yeah, lots of things come in the modded thing. Though I haven't seen one of mine. I think if you make one yourself, I don't think that's classed as a proper mod, as in like the game knows it's not been vetted by giants. They always show as needing an update on my computer every time because it's different to the game's version of it, and it knows it's the game. So we're in July, I believe. I think we should be like doing the harvest, if I remember rightly. I'm sure we've got 3 fields that are actually ready to harvest, if I remember rightly. Yes, I think we should be getting going rather than chin wagging. Then we can chin wag, yeah, right. And also the beautiful thing about this is we really can. It's typical. I actually looked at this all my life. It really does need. Now, there's one thing that I think we can afford, but we really do need, and that probably would be the Carche. Yeah. Now, I know the posh one, the 8 grand one, that can now be moved, which is quite special. But for the price of 8 grand, I could buy 16 that I'm going to place to them all over the place. And yeah, so tools. I think it's the rear. Yeah, this one 500, a mere 500. So I think I'd sooner have like 2 or 3 of these. I'm not going to do 2 or 3. I usually pick a point that we're going to go past frequently. Maybe that's not a bad idea, but before we do this, let's do a tiny bit of like painting so that it makes a bit of sense. Something that's going to stand out a bit. Ooh, that's quite, well, I think it's pretty. Let's do a big square of that. Ooh, that is actually quite nice. I was going to say something then, but I'm going to actually do a news article about it rather than like say it's 10 times. So let's stick that right in the middle. Yeah, Carche, don't really, well, we'll stick it smack bang in the middle. It's not really in the way. So let's like grab the header and get cracking. I'm going to, yeah. I will mention it though. I'm going to do a news article about this later. But I've had an idea. I was looking at the analytics a few times recently. I thought, do I give up? I don't mean it funny. I'm not really terribly successful. And I thought, well, actually, a lot of people do watch the videos, but they don't watch all of them. The analytics say that most people only watch them for like a few minutes, like this. So I'm thinking, well, if that's the case, and it is, and I've always said this myself, I don't expect everybody to like, because not everyone's cup of tea is a time lapse. So that's a bit of a oh, great, nice one. You can't not concentrate and like chat and at the same time, can you, without doing damage? You know. Right. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. So I've always said that. Now, it is all about the journey. I've said that because there's been lots of times I think, well, do I do what everybody wants, where I don't show everything and I do montages, and I really feel very strongly about that. Really felt, because it's a journey, and I'm showing you the journey of how, all my life it says as he tugs these seeds around, of how I got from like nothing, and especially in this case, to how we're doing now. And it is the journey, and that's my point. So, but I always have also said many times that I really don't expect people to watch the every single time lapse. I make it quite clear that the time lapses are there so that if you chose to watch a series from start to finish, you will see exactly, apart from lost footage, which occasionally happens, you will see exactly how we got from whatever, whether it's a new farmer start, how we got to the big farm that we get to at the end, or how we got to having 11 million in the bank, or all that type of stuff. It's how you got there, the journey, that is really what you sign up for. And if I just sort of carry on as everyone else, I'm just the same as everybody else. And it's not really what the channel stands for. And I am different, I realise that. And that's going to be Marmite. You're either going to be loved or hated, or a bit in between. But I still feel very strongly about it. And I thought, well, if you are going to continue, I don't expect to be. I mean, yeah, we're nearly we're getting really quite high. The turnover, the steady growth, and none of you are leaving, which that's nice. It proves that there's a lot of people who maybe not watching all the time. I understand that people have got lives, but people do. They don't just like subscribe and then clear off like a week later. The subscriptions, sort of, you know, I don't mean you don't ever lose anybody. Of course you do. People sign up and then think, nah, you're not for me, and I understand that. Of course I do. But what I'm saying is my subscriptions, is on the rise, a steady progress. When I look at the videos, some of them have got like 176. I know that's not like thousands like a lot of channels have, but I'm not, and I'm a small channel, so I'm comparing myself to the figures that I've had in the past. Right, let's set this going. No, we're chatting. I'll do it myself while I'm chatting, and because it is important. Yes, so bottom line is, yeah, I do thank you all for hanging around. It's one of the biggest things that I'm, going to say. But the other thing is, I thought, well, I know people are busy, and a lot of people don't like the time lapses, but it's the journey, so I've got to show it. I don't want to do jerky 7 times or 5 times time lapses. I do it at times 3, so that it's not too awful. It doesn't like jerk, because I have done them at 7 times. I've done. There's a couple of Stone Valleys, and I looked at it and I thought, no way, that is just so painful to look at. All of the jerky, like going around the corners too fast, and that. I said it hurts your eyes. So always vowed ever since that the most I'd do is probably times 5 on a really monster field that would take me like 3 hours, and you would need to watch it for an hour. I think that's just too much. So I would trim that down to times 4 or 5, where it's going to be 20 minutes and it's really 4 or 5 hours. But yeah, so I'm not gonna wander on and on around the bushes. But what I thought, well, why don't you try something new? And I thought, and I actually quite like my thoughts, but I would love to hear from yourselves on this point. Now I'm going to do a news article about this. I might even just do this as the news article, because what I'm saying there is not about the farm, it's about all the Let's Plays. I'm thinking, because obviously most people like specific things. Like some people like to see manual bale handling, and they'll like go through a series and they just want to see that, or they just want to see this, or they just want to home in on the farm. So I thought, well, hang on a minute, those who haven't got a lot of time, I thought, why don't you at the end of the session do a summary of what you did, but put it at the beginning of the session? Because obviously when I record it and put it back together in editing, now I'd have to talk in the present sense, because otherwise it'd be like, it would be a bit spooky, because I'm like, yeah, I'm what we did in this session. I mean, I could do that, I suppose, but it seems, if I know I'm going to record it at the end, if I talk in present tense and say like what we are going to do in this session, but I am not trying to like be a mind reader, as in like I know really, you will also see that I've got the little clock underneath the game clock. So if this was the very recording and then I recorded at like 10 to 8, you'd know, hang on a minute, you started this session at 6:51 and now you're doing what we're going to do through this session. So what I'm thinking of doing is a summary, and I'm going to put that at the beginning so that people can like, because not a lot of people, including myself, read the description of each video. Most of us just hit the thing. I've got to be honest, I mean, I'm a massive YouTuber myself, as in like watch a lot of YouTube, and I can't remember the last time I ever read a description on a video. I'll search for it and I'll watch it, and that's good enough for me, and that's all I actually do. So a lot of other people, I'm presuming, are quite the same as me, and again, a lot of people are quite avid YouTubers. It's one of those things that you do a lot. So, and if I don't do it, I'm not saying everybody doesn't, there may well be some people that are really fastidious and they do look at the descriptions about what is going to happen. But I thought, well, if I get to the point, as in at the beginning of the session, in so much as I will have finished the session, and then at the end I'll do a bit of a summary, which I'm going to put at the beginning of the video, that will say what we are going to do in this video is do I need to do present tense, or do I just say... I suppose I think it's better, because it's a bit weird if you like put it in the past tense, even though it will be, to me at that point, it'll be the past tense. But what I'm thinking is, really, I'm just going to like tell you what we're going to do, and then you can sort of like watch the video for 2 minutes, and if you want to watch the whole session, if like what I've said interests you, then obviously, yeah, by all means. I mean, I always hope that everyone watches the whole session, but I understand that people haven't got that sort of time. A lot of people spend 7 or 8 minutes, which to me is you're flicking through it, which I've got to be honest, there are a few occasions when I'm editing, if I've got too many videos to edit, I will go through. That's not foolproof. No, it isn't. No, I don't want that one. Wow, it's travelling a bit. Why are we still... Whoa. For a second, I can see it on the map. Right, so we want either of these tractors here will do nicely. Yeah, so have we got... I think... Didn't we stick some of our stuff at the silo, or didn't we sell it? I think... Have we got any left? Did we stick it somewhere? Yes, it's here. Right, I'm going to say I thought we got some left. And also, saying that, have we got any sunflowers in the oil mill presently? Plenty. Yeah, it's only gone down 9 tons. So, yeah, that's all good. Yeah, so basically, I think I'm going to try it. Again, I'd love to hear from yourselves. I'm going to release this as a news article as well as actually in the Zielonka sort of thing itself. I really would... What are you doing? You just... I cannot do 2 things at once. I'm a terror. We want the other one that's empty. Do you know? Gordon Bennett, man. Oh, yeah. So, bottom line is... oh, wow. Ash. Wow, that's a bit of a terrible one. I've not seen one like... It's typical. I think I've taken the autosave off nearly all of them now, because I said the other day... Well, we haven't had any major crashes for a long time. Please, not today. You know, when I've taken that off. It does actually look quite nice. I do like that. I might remember that. It does look like really quite cool. Yeah, so again, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it on every session. I'm going to sort of do a brief playback of I don't mean like playback as in I'm going to play anything back. I'm going to stand at the end of the session and I'm going to just say what we did this session. And then obviously we can scoot on, and yeah, I want to keep this brief. I don't want to go on and on and on like I can do. Everybody, you know, I'm quite sure everyone has enough of that. I do try to always recognise that your time is precious, and it is true. Now we can squeeze past. We can go this way. We know this. Oh, and there is a bit there. Now, the one bad thing is about this. Yeah, I've done this manually. Now, a sensible person would, because he's got Courseplay, would have actually done this through Courseplay so that he could follow with the baler. Now I'm going to have to do this manually. Yeah, so I'm going to keep it there. Basically, what I'm going to do is a bit of a summary, but I would like your inputs for those who, you know, because again, I always like to... I mean, I'd get very little feedback apart from people who say, oh, yeah, you're doing a cracking job. I love it. But I'm like, yeah, but what do you like and what don't you like? You know, what is good and what isn't good? Because I'd like to improve, and I can't do that without any feedback. So, yeah, things that annoy you. I mean, there's certain fundamentals, as I said, that I'm not going to change. I've thought about it and I'm not. That's true. We could actually... bail ourselves. We did buy the Schnuffelstuck on purpose so that we could actually do, if we're going to do this session where I'm chatting. But to be honest, I think I've actually done, but it's I would like to see if Courseplay can figure this out, because the normal worker can't, although it can, but it doesn't let you do it. So yeah, we're going to grab the baler, and I'm going to set a Courseplay course. So I'm going to stop the camera for a minute, I'm going to grab the baler, and then I'm going to bring you back in once to show the test. I'm not actually going to do it, I'm just going to do the course. So I'm going to see you shortly. Right, moment of truth, I haven't actually tried it myself. Golden rule with Courseplay is, although it's a pain that you wouldn't really do this in real life, you've got to lower the implement that it might not understand. So if it's got any chance of working, that's what it's always done before. So first waypoint, 7.6 meters, I think it's 7.6, and go. Will this do the baling? the pickup down, but I just would like to see if Courseplay is. I mean, it is beta. It's not. It's like best. It's at its absolute worst. Nevertheless, it is still Courseplay, and it can still bail and all of the things. I mean, the bailing is probably the number one thing that I've always loved about Courseplay, that it will bail. So will it? And it switched that on. The pickup. Will it do it? Yes, it will. Absolutely phenomenal. That is amazing. Now, it's not going to be perfect. Obviously, it's following that. Do you think this did we go? I think we went for the long one because it was too dear. The short one. The short one is definitely better, but it's twice as expensive. It just is a little bit. Yeah, so there's going to be cleanup required. Whereas if I did this myself, then there wouldn't be cleanup required. I could actually just do this myself. So, right. So let's go. Yeah, really, it's a test. Really, I'm going to do it myself. I just wanted to see, can it do it, and it can. So, yeah, that's really, we want to be going straight. And we are, right, smashing. So, yeah, I'm going to now go up and down. I just wanted to see, could it do it? And it can. So that is a real bonus. Oh, am I going to... No, not really. That's fine. Yeah, so ups and downs, as we've done before. So I have really finished. Yeah, it was just... I'm going to do that now. Obviously, I would like to... I'm going to have to have the baler open, aren't I? Because that's going to be the one that we need to do the most. I'm going to say my words, though. We're going to, like, time-lapse the rest of this. Or it's not going to take... It's not going to take very long, is it? No, but I suppose I can't concentrate terribly well because I'm, like, doing 2 or 3 things at once. And you've seen how bad I am at doing one thing extra, like chatting and doing one thing, and I'm terrible. So to do 2 things to concentrate on, like, not destroying the canal. Although I've got to be honest... Giants have made that nice and easy. Now then, nearly there. Alright, smash it. We need to switch auto drop, which I think is that one. It is. Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. One feature I'd sort of like, and that is the fact that Giants have like... And now we need to... I apologise for the header going. I mean, it's just such a pain in the backside to keep like cycling between all of the different implements and then lift and then raise. We know really the header does cruise over the ground. It's not literally like dragging into the ground or anything like that. And the pickup's similar really. It's not... It is low, but it's not... Yeah, not really like doing anything else, so... Yeah, so I am going to say my words because it is true I can't concentrate on chatting and concentrating on 2 other things at the same time. So I'm terrible. So I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. stopping the cameras for 1 second? Can you all see that? If I angle the things like that, you can see straw actually in front of the... That is really bizarre. It's gone now, but it really was doing it. That was really bizarre. Yeah, if you certainly angled the camera a certain way, you could actually see the straw that is... Now, I've noticed, and I'm sure we've all noticed, that peculiar phenomenon where you're going down one row and the row next to you loses a bit of straw. It really does work like that. And it's a bit of a strange phenomenon, but obviously it's a game and there are like little idiosyncrasies of the game, and it definitely does drag a bit of straw from the, like, yeah, and it is there, look, out the corner of your eye you can see straw, just camera edges. Again, still weird things going on with the game. It's really, you know, I can't wait till the Christmas break for Giants to carry on having a go at fixing it, because it really is in need of some quite serious fixing. Right. Yeah, I'm going to go back into the time now. Oh, it's not worth it. It's one field. We'll just go up now. It is more awkward, though. I've got to be honest. I've got to be just a little bit mindful. And let's be honest. Look, yeah, behind. To see the straw. Although that might be really there. It might be really there. Right, 100. Yeah, no, that really is there. But yeah, it definitely was doing it, though. That is 100% truthful. I could see it out the corner of my eye when I was just doing this. I was like, hang on a minute, I can see straw appearing in the row next door. Yeah, there's certain bits of the game that are like letting you see some of the secrets that you should not see, that should be hidden. Some things that are visible, that obviously doing a bit of modding, I sort of, you look at the magic, I suppose, how the magic's done, which I'm quite happy with that. Always love playing with systems and things like that, so I really am enjoying it a lot. I've had a real battle with the cow enclosure, so much so that I've actually really rebuilt it from scratch, and I've about broken it. But although I have about broken it, I know what I need to do now, having sort of like ripped a few mods to pieces, mainly placeables, to be honest. I've really enjoyed it. Really, my real love is the equipment, but I've had to go at the placeables because I needed them for Let's Plays, and I really don't regret it. It really is good fun. But it's all about the paths and about... It is true, 85%. Yeah, it is true what I'm saying as well, that Giants do obscure things. And I also understand a little bit more. The first mods I did were things like fertilizer, and I'd make them cheaper, but the game wouldn't let you do that, and that's because it's still calling back to a Giants controlled model, whereas if you do it yourself, then Giants don't control the model. As in, this is a theory I've got. I am going to test it out as well, because I'm not 100% sure that I'm right. Ooh, yeah, I'm not. It doesn't like turning at certain. Yeah, so I've cleaned up all my mods, all of the ones I made, the early ones that I kept on ignoring. I've got all of the. I can buy multiple ones. 90%. Yeah, while we're this close, and it's being as it's all me, let's actually just, yeah, let's grab everything. Let's grab a bit of let's go round. I think it's easiest, even though it's a bit of a tight turn actually, especially now the tractors have been nerfed and their turning circles are like terrible. But yeah, I really am thoroughly enjoying it. It's taught me a lot. It's weird, even if I can't get it fixed, I've looked. It's a bit like I do love mechanicking. When I was 18, I was really sort of quite poor. I was a wind cleaner, and I was starting off, and you know, got a family early on and all that type of stuff, and I had to, for economy, learn to like be a mechanic, because I couldn't afford to go to a yeah, I mean, me finding 500 quid to like go to the local garage I just couldn't do it. I would have been like robbing the family's money for like the rent, or the what's the rent at the time, and food and all the rest of it. So I couldn't justify that. So I learned to be a mechanic, and again, you get better at it. And over the years, although I did it to begin with to just for a practical reason, I really do now. I'm getting a bit old. I can't go under the cars like I used to. I do still. I love to do it, but yeah, it's. I am paying garages to do it now. That I'm going to be truthful on that. But when I'd got the strength, not strength, it's more about dexterity and you know, my body was a bit stronger, and I've got the will. I mean, I work long hours, so there's only so much anyone can do, but I can now afford to pay garages, so I pay garages. So whereas when I was young, I couldn't. Oh, it's the straw. I was going to say we just emptied it. It's the straw that's nearly full. Now then, yeah, I should really lift it for doing this, because it doesn't. The pavement sort of lifts up in places. But yeah, so the modding, even if I can't fix it, it still teaches you a lot. I'm learning how the shaders, I don't want to get too technical, how everything fits together. I'm learning little things about, you know, oh yeah, see there the straw on the edge of the, if I do that, you see it just appearing on the edge. You shouldn't see that, but you can if you look carefully. Yeah, just there, you can see it under the fields. Yeah, there's bits of it. It's slow. It's the game's speed. It's the same as that. Yeah, you can see it underneath there. You can see an entire layer of straw that's underneath the field that shouldn't show. And then when you look at it like that, it disappears. That is real, though. You can see it. So yeah, it's not good. There's a lot of things that really so slow that you can see it happening. Like, I mean, we've all seen the phenomenon where it's not keeping up with whatever equipment you're using. It's like it plows a second later, and it really is quite painful and disconcerting, especially for creating content, because it's just, you know, I talk about realism, but like it's just not real. It's just not there yet, which, as I keep talking about, FS22 was broken all the way through, and it never got fixed. There was still, yeah, there were issues with FS22 right the way up until, obviously, well, some people are still playing it, but obviously I pulled the plug straight away. Yeah, you can see it over there on the right hand side at times, and then other times it goes, but it is definitely there. It's definitely not right. But yeah, I did say this. FS19 at the end was a polished jewel. It had its flaws. The engine wasn't. It could only do certain things, and you can't fix something that's beyond the engine's capabilities. But FS22 had made a lot of improvements. FS25 also, but at what cost? Yeah, I mean, these terrible slowdowns. I was saying this on New Frontier a couple of sessions ago. I've always said this. There are a few games, I've been a gamer all my life, there are a few games that were graphically beautiful but boring as anything, because the play balance wasn't there. I can play some old games that are just classics and really do have depth. I mean, my dad loves Dwarven Fortress, and if you've ever seen that, the graphics are terrible, but it's a very deep game. And again, I can also it's not one of my favourite games, but what I'm saying is I can agree with my dad that I can play a game that's got depth even if the graphics are terrible, because that's not what makes a good game. But like, to make the graphics fantastic but my game's terrible, I'd sooner not. I'm just ignoring it. This is what I'm saying. I just can't do two things, or three things really: talking, bailing, and concentrating on the thing. I can't do it very well. Not too terrible. There's not that much cleanup really. They're definitely going straight up and down with this is the way to do it if you're going to like do it yourself, but also to stop when your bail's about to roll out and not to continue. I'm normally better when I'm in the time lapse, I must admit. But yeah, it is true. I do. People are grumbling, and I can see why they're grumbling. But I also do think that, I don't know. I mean, the thing is as well, if you've stretched an engine, then can you make it? Because it's relying on. There are tweaks that they can do, and I'm hoping that, to goodness, that they can really do that. Because there's a lot of very disappointed people out there at the minute. I can see the promise, so I'm not going to grumble too badly. Right, let's just drop that bailing out. we'll finish the rest off with a tractor. Fantastic. And we'll grab that pipe out. Yeah, we don't get that much canola from these 3 fields. These 2 especially are little tiny fields, but we're still not terrible. We will put the canola straight in because obviously we do need it. Yeah, we're about out. We did survive though. We did survive the year on what we'd got. Or did we? Did we? I think we ran out, didn't we? I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure canola oil. No. No, we're still... Yeah, we survived. So actually, what we did was about the right amount, but obviously we did different fields. We've used our 3 smallest fields this year, although in saying that, we did used to have these as our fields all the time. So really, it's still quite good. So how much did we actually get from these 3 fields? 15,000. I would say that is about a year. We get about 15, 16 tons out of these factories, which is about double and a little bit more than the Giants ones. I think they're about 5 or 6, which is really terrible, really. But I think that's right. But correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody who... Well, I mean, I did, like, obviously my Riverbend Springs I did at the beginning with the standard Giants, which is what... I've got to be honest, end of FS22, I was interested in modding, and I... FS25 though, when everything was not there, I thought, well, why don't you have a go now? You know how to do... I've watched Lambo mods, like the first initial things where you can... Oh, wow, got a little bit extra as well. Yeah, where Lambo sort of shows you the basic modding, where you're just tweaking XMLs. In fact, even Giants have said that. I've heard someone was saying something on a forum, or I can't remember where I heard it, and Giants said, well, you can achieve that just through doing the XML file. You don't really need to do much else. And that really is what all I've done with the factories, is I've just tweaked. Now, I'm going beyond that now, but at the beginning, I just tweaked the XML. Let's see if we can knock this a little as well, just so it's out of the way of the... I also thought it would be nice to actually... I mean, we have got grass equipment. Why don't we buy another field and we, like, grass it? Is what I'm thinking. Even though this may be the last year. Again, I'm waiting on your... What everyone says about this, whether you'd like me to, like, finish this year and do one more after it, or whether you're all happy for me to... yeah, we've got the animals. That was one of the big things. This animals are soon going to give birth. So that's a bit of a bad... That's a bad connect. Let's try a bit better than that. Yeah, so I really want to know... I mean, I'm enjoying Zielonka more than any of the others because we came from absolutely nowhere. And that's fantastic, because we can honestly say... we've done well, and we have, from where we came from. Whereas the others, I mean, most of them, because of how poor you can spend money like water, and everything's very expensive. Most of those I started with 750,000, and some of them with a new farmer start as well. Because money was, I mean, every session you were getting through 100 grand, just like through... wages and buying 1 or 2 pieces of equipment in the sales. It was like I was flabbergasted and horrified at like how easy it was to spend money, and I was like thinking, this is just... So I can see why Giants have been very generous and allowed us all of the money that we have, you know, the choices we have at the beginning, because like my old FS19, let's give ourselves 500 grand and like buy fields and equipment, is literally, it's difficult to do. Don't get me wrong, you can still do 100 grand if you give yourself a generator. One of the viewers, he's did 100 grand start on New Frontier, but again, I don't know whether he meant he'd actually let himself have the starting equipment, because it is a bit sparse. But obviously, even, I've got to be honest, what I find on a start from scratch, if you're going to go give yourself nada, it's the first tractor, and especially at the beginning of the game when there are no mods, it's difficult. Now, that's one thing I am quite nicely surprised that Giants did actually straight away give us certain tractors that were very reasonable. That's what I say. Some of the things Giants have done are really sort of out of character with the previous... Yeah, I mean, I don't ever think of Giants as being generous, ever. But I've got to be honest, sometimes some of the things that they've done, they've acted out a character a few times. I've mentioned it quite a lot, and that is on the Alpine map in FS22. The field behind the sawmill was... I had to like double take when I realised how cheap that was. I was like thinking, Giants have done a cheap field. I mean, I'd sometimes you'd expect Oxygen David to like throw you a bone and like give you a free field or a cheap field, or some mod mappers also give you one field if you look closely on the map that's quite reasonable, a little bit, you know, like a good value field that you could start if you was like start from scratch. But there's a couple of things, and this, I've got to be honest, FS25, there are some really good cheap equipment. There's the lorry that's 45 grand. Yeah, I mean, some of the things, I mean, that is just terribly good value. I'd love it if it had got a rear hitch. That would be stupendously good. But it's still fantastic for a lorry. Oh, I thought I'd missed that. It is still fantastic for a lorry to be that reasonable. I'm just very, very unexpected of Giants to do such a thing as that. I think that's about it. So, we've got the first, yeah, we may as well chat. We may as well get the baling done on this one as well. I'd forgotten. I was just thinking about, you've not finished your baling yet, just quite. Yeah, so I do, again, so I'm not thinking of giving up. That's one thing I'm going to say. You have these sort of thoughts where you like think, well, am I, you know, everyone's sort of saying, oh yeah, you know, we love your content, we love all your efforts, and you think, yeah, but is it, you know, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying no, I'm not for 1 minute. I love it. Kevin's been a massive supporter. Marty, Scoopsky now, also very vocal. We've had a few people that have come, I can't think of, yeah, I mean, Milk That Hen, obviously, he's got his own channel now, so he was very vocal, a great support, but now I understand totally because he's making his own content. He's not got time to be creating content and watching the channel as well, and, you know, and I totally understand that, I really do. But they say there's a lot of people who are very vocal and good supporters, and it is nice to hear from, well, everybody, really, it is. Some people come and go, and they'd, you know, like give a few comments, and then you don't ever hear from them again, and I understand that. It's part of the course, but it's, you sometimes like think, well, am I like any good at this? And then I keep thinking, I'm sort of driving to work, and I think some of it is, I mean, again, and it's sort of, sometimes I like get like everyone does, where you just want to be really successful, and then I think I don't particularly care. I'm not doing this for monetary reasons. I'm not. I mean, of course, it'd be lovely if the channel took off, but I'm quite happy if 40 people are watching. I've said this before, or 20 people. It doesn't matter. You can't compare yourself to like Mr. Sealy P or all these others where like 16,000 people view that session. You know, like, you know, every single time he's got like 600 likes and things like that. You can't compare yourself to Mr. Sealy P because he's a discovered massive name, and so is obviously Daggerwin and all of the big ones, Farmer Carp. There's, you know, Farmer Clive. There's actually some really big channels out there that I didn't know about. I was looking at Two Ladies, and they've got a massive fan base, and I suppose that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you don't, I mean, you don't know yourself because you don't watch every channel. I'm talking about for myself now. You don't know how these channels could have been going for 10 years, and just because I didn't know them because I was a massive supporter of Miss Sealy P, and he was like, you know, I've only got time to watch one person like that, and I chose Miss Sealy P. I watched quite a lot of Daggerwin as well, but again, we've all got our something that is we like about someone, or the way that they present something, and some things that you don't. And I'm not saying I don't like the way that Daggerwin presents. He's a master. He's very good at his stories, like Miss Sealy P, in a different way. Yeah, he is definitely good. A bit, and he draws you in, and sometimes you think, oh, what's he doing? But he's drawing you into a storyline. It's not that he doesn't understand that he could do better than that. He's drawing you in to a storyline on purpose, and he knows exactly what he's doing. So yeah, he's an absolute. Scroft is another very good. And Again, I was watching his... He did a beautiful bit of footage for Calmsden. Absolutely amazing. Gave Dagwin a very good run for his money from the one that he did. Very high res, slow motion, all that type of stuff. And I thought, well, I could do that. And I thought, yeah, I could. But I'm more interested in getting the content out there. I mean, I suppose to get... Yeah, I mean, at Rizu Forest, JM Gaming did a bit of like that, but I just get straight stuck into the content. And again, maybe that is what I'm missing. Maybe a bit of shine. But I'm like thinking, yeah, but I'd sooner show a map off and let the magic and the beauty of the map itself speak for itself, rather than me, you know, like do a cinematic, which is going to take 10 hours for me to get that right. I know, because I did do it once. I did it on... Belleron. I did a cinematic where I did a flyover, and it took me quite a while to actually do that. No, I'm yeah, it is working. It was just little tiny bits. I was thinking I'd like not to. Yeah, so I could do it. It just is time consuming. The thing is, obviously, that I've got to say is I go to work. These guys and gals do this as a living. So shining a video up all day long to really bring the best out of Calmsden, Scroft can afford to do that, whereas I just want to show the content. Again, though, if my reasoning's wrong, I really would love to hear from you. If you, I mean, I've got me only 4K content, like on the logo on, or my sort of title on, and I think I'm not that kind of person to normally do that. And I thought, do I like it? And I thought, oh, I'll just leave it on. It's not hurting. If anyone says, oh, I mean, the other thing is, I like to show as much of the screen as possible. I could... No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I could go like this and be totally hoodless. I could easily do that, because I bought some software a few years ago, because I found it disconcerting. I can't see any controls. It's quite horrible. But there's a piece of software that I bought, and you can use an Android tablet or an iOS tablet for that matter, and that has all the icons on, or most of the ones, like tip side and all the rest of it. But you can still do your tipping and that, and if you've got your auto drop on, it's not too bad. But I still find it... But you can see the entire screen. Obviously, that's what Scroff did on his. You know, that these are sort of tricks that we can all play. And again, I think, is it Sim? Is it not the Farm Sim guy? One of them that I know. He was the one who actually told me about the software years ago, and I went out and bought it. And I thought, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that. Yeah, I think, although you can do it, I think most of us like to see, but I don't want too much. The same as in FS22, I had the damage mod on, but it's very unobtrusive. I remember seeing Frithgar once. He'd got quite a few similar ones, and they were on the right hand side at the bottom going up, and I'm like, oh no, it's just too much. It's like snatching too much of the screen. But again, it's your choice. I'm not having to go at Frithgar, but I personally like it to be minimal, where you've got I do think the mini one is the mini map is good. It's very useful at times, but again, at certain times, if an implement, if it gets in the way down that bottom corner, I will switch it off for a bit, but then I'll switch it on as soon as we're off that, because it's useful to you, the viewer, as well, sometimes, to see where you are, in quite a few instances where that is useful. Right, so that is the session. Yeah, it is. Right, so then I'm going to leave it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the very first thing. I'm going to stop the recording, and then the bit that I'm going to say now, I'm going to tack at the front of what we actually achieved in this session. So all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you're going to stick with me on this journey. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.